A lot of the time, Sokola mentality tells you just enough. Imali and it's already got names, it's already got directions. Paula Sisi, we are meant to bear fruit. So why is our money not doing that? Money does not own your career, you do. Hello honeys, it's Yolz and welcome back to my channel. I realized a few weeks ago that I've never actually spoken about my personal money mantra, okay? As much as I seem very open, I am probably the most private when it comes to imali. I like talking about money, but I don't like talking about money, if that makes sense. I never really talk about my mentality and my view of money, and one of the biggest things for me is that I never actually am ever broke. I am never broke, and that's only because of my mantra and because I never say I am broke. I don't utter those words, I don't believe those words over my own life, and because I've been really poor I know what it feels like to have money and not to have money. I've also come to learn that these are things that seem very simple but at the same time very complex to understand, especially for the simple mind who, like myself, possibly grew up in poverty and their view and relationship with money is non-existent, number one. So they always find themselves not having and living in lack. I've been there and it ain't nice. I've also had money and experienced the lifestyle that I'm living, and it's nice. This is where I want to be, you know. It's nice to be here. And yeah, with that, I want us to start the video. If you do enjoy it, give it a massive thumbs up, and of course please do subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it if you did click that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Join this family. I want to empower you so that you never ever go broke. Okay, let's get straight into the money mantras, okay, that I have, and then we'll get into the depth of it and where they come from. Now, like I said, this is supposed to be a story time, but I think most of you already know my story. I grew up fairly, like, I don't think well off, but we were a middle class family who had, you know, everything. I lived with my mom and my dad, and then when I turned 12, my mom left an unhealthy relationship with my father, moved to Cape Town, and basically, I believe the day before or a few days before we left, my mom said, even if we sleep under a pipe, we will be okay, as long as we leave this house, okay? Our safety comes first. So yeah, it's weird because right now it's August, it's Women's Month, and whenever it hits me, the whole GBV, gender-based violence thing, it hits very close to home because I understand the fact that we are survivors of such. But it's got nothing to do with this video right now. So I don't want to get all emo and get into that, but I do want to say that's a very significant part of my life that really influenced the way in which I viewed money back then, especially being subject to poverty, you know, and almost being the receiving end of not having money, seeing what it is to really not have, and to go by day knowing we really can't have what most kids have, but the bare minimum really got us through to where we are today. But yeah, we overcame it, and thankfully we are here today where we all are, we fight like we're good. So yeah, that's the gist of the story. I basically got to grow up seeing the life that I lived in poverty versus the life that I wanted to live, and I always had to have a mentality that saw past my circumstances back then. So that's where my money mantras come from. Of course, they've changed over the years, but they've come to a point where I now know where I stand when it comes to money. I now understand my power over money and the fact that it's just a means, and that is why I will never ever allow myself to lack in that area, simply because of the things that I truly believe. And this is not one of those things where it's no prosperity preaching or anything like that. There is a very strong practical aspect to these mantras. It's what actually pushed me to realize that I'm not subject to the salary, you know. My boss only determines my salary, but my income is far greater than my salary. What I earn overall is not determined by this person called my boss or my manager or this place of work called my job. So firstly, I don't work for money. Money works for me. I need to do my job, but I'm not doing it for the means of money. I realized very early in my career that I just don't want to be slaving away. I don't want to do that. I wanted to understand the fact that where my money goes, my money grows. It always dawned heavily on me to get to, you know, 20 days into the month and find myself just not having enough to get me through the next 10 days of the month before we get paid again. And I realized, but nyasebenza, what? And then I met my husband, and he'd always say like, but why are your pants faded? I'll say, Vince, why don't you get yourself new shoes? I'll say, Vince. And that literally changed the way in which I viewed money, right? I work, but I shouldn't work for the money to get me the shoes. I need to work because it's part of my career and where I want to be and part of my goals, my career goals. The money is just a means to get by, right? The shoes need to come because automatically I work. The money needs to be subject to me and therefore get me the shoes that I need. Because why? Nemsebenzi. I have a job, right? Not the other way around, where siya sokola. And a lot of the time, sokola mentality tells you just enough, just have enough to get you through the next 10 days. Just have enough, go to work, get the money, get the shoe. No. Work, enjoy work with your passion and your purpose and your goals. Let that align. Let money come. Let money work for you. I really hope that makes sense. The next one is money doesn't leave my bank account without purpose. And this goes with practice. Again, it's not one of those things that you just have to believe. It's one of those things that you really, truly have to practice. When money leaves your bank account, where it goes, make sure it grows, okay? So I speak to my money. When I get paid, I'm just like, okay, cool. Just because you are there doesn't mean you are going to dictate where you go. I am the boss of you. You dictate where it goes. A lot of the times, especially in our black families, imali yeza, and it's already got names, it's already got directions. Paula Sisi. In fact, my money starts where it needs to be saved first. And this practice for me came a few years after I was saved. I actually learned to take the first 10% and give it to the Lord. I tithed. I was an avid tither. And I still do that through giving in different ways. Right now, not necessarily just church. So I give in different ways. And then the rest of the money, 20%, if I can, I put it away. That's savings. As for my expenses, they're already on paper. I understand my expenses. When I pay for them, I'm making sure I'm speaking. This money does not get lost. This money has got direction. I'm giving the money direction, not the other way around. Otherwise, you find yourself always being subject to this thing that is overbearing and overwhelming, and that is why it never stays in your pocket. My salary does not affect my income. My income is bountiful and it grows exponentially. The day I quit my job was the day I realized that the lento engiyenzayo is pushing someone else's vision. My vision here is going nowhere as long as I'm spending and dedicating 8 to 10 hours a day for someone else's dream to come true. If I put in half the time into my own dream and vision, money will come. The income will come. My boss has given me a single number called a salary, which is limited every single month. But every month I saw with everything that I was doing passionately that my income was far more than that. And I realized that mentally I needed to understand that my income is far greater than what my paycheck shows. I hope we are balapansi right now. I really hope you're writing this down. Over time, it may become practice to you when you understand the subject here. You are the authority. Money is subject to you. My prosperity is not tied to how much my salary is this month. It is tied to how far I'm willing to grow my wealth. It's like school fees. You pay for the school fees understanding that this investment will grow over time. You need to have that mentality with everything, okay, that you're spending on, but also that comes with wisdom. So be wise in what exactly you are spending on. And I apply this in every single thing. I am not subject to money. Money is subject to me. I attract wealth. And I truly believe this because my mentality is far bigger than my circumstance, period. I also never say I am broke simply because I do not accept poverty in my future. I really have been there before. I know what it's like to be there, and every time I put in the effort to work, I expect a return, which is money. I really want my money to go where my wealth is. And if my bank account today is at zero, I don't have money at the moment. It's not that I'm broke. It's just that right now, aguna mali. Big difference. It's subject to change. The way in which you're viewing it now, you can start asking questions like, how can it change? When you tell yourself you are broke and put a full stop to that, that is the end of it. There's no question on whether or not, how can I change the situation? But when you say not at the moment, it means that it's subject to change. I'm not saying that you can take yourself out of poverty instantaneously, but I'm saying the way in which you view money will affect your relationship with money. So I always speak multiple zeros behind my numbers. For instance, the risks that I take are always calculated, yes, but not all of them are guaranteed. But I always do it in the hopes of growing that money. Now, that's not to say that I go in blindly. It's just to say that I do strongly believe that if I say this thing will grow, I will ensure that it does. If it means hard work, dedication, late nights, sleepless nights, it means I'll put in that time, and that time will bring about fruit. That is my true belief and mantra around that. We are who we think we are, and so is your pocket and bank account. Now, I'm just reading my story actually, where I wrote all these things down. I wouldn't have quit my job without being confident in my relationship with money, and that I'd still be able to uphold the same lifestyle and be able to pay for my car, my property, and understand that money does not own my career. I do. Money does not own your career, you do. I really hope this video helps you reflect on the relationship that you have with money, and that it will change if it's already on the other side of brokenness. And if you speak those things over you and say those things, well girl, change those words. Understand and practice the notion of you having authority over money rather than it having authority over you. We are meant to bear fruit. So why is our money not doing that? Perhaps it is the relationship that we have, or the view we've been taught to have on money, and I really hope that changes. So that is it from me. I really hope you did enjoy this video. Those are my money mantras, something that I never really talk about. In fact, it's probably the only part of my life that's super private, but I live by it, and I've seen it multiply over and over simply because of the things that I truly believe are true when it comes to money. Okay, so go out there and do not be subject to your circumstance right now. It is subject to change as long as you shift your paradigm towards the way in which you view money. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and of course do like this video if you did enjoy it. Let me know down below what your relationship with money was before this video and what it is right now. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Bye.